Hey guys, it's Dean. Welcome to Manful Yoga. This workout is the total body release. It's a 50-minute stretch session focused on restoring your body. So we're going to do a lot of deep, longer held stretches, not a lot of muscle building here, not really any at all. Most of this is relaxed. You're going to be sitting on the ground, lying down, kneeling. We're going to be using 2 blocks and a strap. There are only a couple poses where they're actually full body exercises. So again, the goal here is to relieve stress, release tension in your body. So this is great if you have 1 day off per week and you're sore and you just want to feel good. This is an awesome workout to relieve that tension in your body. So again, the tools we're going to use: 2 blocks and a strap. Make sure to breathe deeply, press beyond your comfort levels. You want to press beyond what's comfortable so you can get that nice, good, deep stretch and have some fun. I hope you enjoy the workout. We're going to get started on your back. So go ahead and lie down and lay all the way down, and we're going to do some hip and some back stretching to get started. So I want you to bring your, don't do that, you don't need to spin, but bring your right knee in, tight to your chest, and just pull back. And I want you to push your left thigh toward the ground. Now you should feel a stretch through the front of your left hip. It might be a light stretch, but it should be a stretch. And then you're going to bring your left arm up, and you're going to lean over toward the right. So it's kind of like you're doing a standing side stretch, except we're actually not standing. So it's a little easier to do, a little more restorative. Still pressing that left thigh toward the ground lightly, still kind of holding your right thigh in tight. And again, you should be feeling stretch through the front of the left hip, your hip flexor, and then up through the left shoulder. I'm going to hold this for 3 breaths. You're lightly pressing your arm up and reaching to the side. So up and to the outside. All right, then go ahead and switch. Bring your left knee in. Hug it in tight. Bring your right leg straight out. Press the back of your right leg toward the ground. Bring your right arm up. And then reach up and over to the left. Again, very similar to a standing side bend or a standing side stretch, but instead you're on the ground. So it's a little easier to do. There's not as much core involvement. And I want you to lightly press your hand away from your body, so you're making your arm longer, and then just reaching over toward the left to get that stretch through the shoulder. 2 more breaths here. All right, and then come back to the middle. Bring your legs over toward the right for a reclined twist. So legs go all the way over to the right. Right hand comes to your left knee. Left arm reaches out to the side as much as you can. You want to have your hips facing out to the side, and your left shoulder is going to be facing straight up. So you're getting a twist to the spine, opening up the hip. You might be feeling stretching through your chest and through your bicep. And once you have all of that down, you have the ribs pulling down through the left side. So you're not letting your chest puff up, but you're pulling the ribs down. Go ahead and look over to the left and then hold here for a few breaths. Let's do 4 deep breaths here. And again, you should be feeling a stretch through the outside of the hip, through your chest, and through the bicep. So this is helping to relieve stress in your lower back, in your hips, helping your lower back feel better. All right, bring it back to the middle. And we're going to ease over to the left now, and a reclined twist, other side. We're going to bring the left hand to your right knee. Bring your right arm straight out to the side. Pull your right rib cage down and in. So notice I'm not letting my chest puff up,
but I'm pulling my ribs down. So my hips are going to face straight out to the side. I'm going to roll back the right shoulder so my chest starts to face up. I want to try and get my right hand to the ground. It might not get there initially, and actually my arm is kind of hovering off the ground right now, but if you hold it for a few breaths, it should get closer. And then look all the way over to the right, so you're getting a stretch through your neck as well. And then hold here, breathe deeply. So in through the nose, and out through the nose. And every exhale, using the exhale to relax your body. So this one's really important to help keep your spine happy. It's just a nice, easy, reclined twist. So if you sit a lot, or if you move a lot too, something that everybody needs. One more breath. All right, come back to the middle. And we're going to go to a happy baby here. So I'm going to have you grab the outsides of your feet. So right elbow is inside the right knee, grabbing the outside of the right foot. Bring your left elbow inside the knee, grab the outside of your left foot. Press your knees to the outside, so you're going to feel a stretch through your inner thighs to the backs of your legs, so hamstrings and adductors. And then you're going to kind of just rock from side to side, just a little bit. So I'm not rocking to the point where I have to maintain balance to not fall over. I'm just kind of moving back and forth a little bit here. And I really want to push my hands into my thighs. So the more I can push my hands into the thighs, the more intense of a stretch I'm going to feel. If you don't want to feel that intense of a stretch, don't worry about pushing that hard. Again, the goal of this is restorative. So we're not trying to achieve any new personal best. The goal is just to help your body recover. If you want, you can try straightening a little more into one leg and then maybe straightening a little more into the other leg, all the while maintaining a really slow, controlled breath. Two more breaths here. Try to drive your knees out. Again, you want to focus on lengthening your thighs, lengthening the backs of your thighs. All right, go ahead and release. I'm going to take this up into a light bridge. And if you have a block, I encourage you to grab that. And you're going to put this under your lower back for the bridge. So your lower back is lightly supported. Arms are along your sides. Your knees, ankles, hips are all the same distance. So all hip width distance because your hips don't get any wider. And then drawing your ribs in, maybe lightly engaging the core. And just keeping your feet lightly engaged, pushing into the ground. Not too much. You don't need to push as hard as you possibly can here, but just a little bit of engagement to feel a stretch through the hips. And getting a nice controlled arch to the spine. 3 breaths here. If you want, you can turn the block up a setting. All right, then go ahead and release. Take that down. And we're going to flip over and head into a child's pose. So child's pose. Arms are going to be wide, knees wide, big toes touch. Arms are about as wide as your knees. And you can keep your arms slightly active here if you want, or you can relax the forearms down. Up to you. I'd recommend keeping the arms a little active to start, just so we can help get the muscles warm so we can stretch them later. Maybe inching your fingers forward a little more and kind of pulling your chest away from your arms. We're pulling the chest away from your hands to get a deeper stretch through your shoulders. Two more breaths. All right, and then moving up to a tabletop position. Let's go through just a couple rounds of cat-cow. So knees squeeze toward one another. And actually, just go ahead and put a block between your thighs so we don't have to worry about that as much. So block between your thighs. Squeeze it tight. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. Just about 5 of these. Try to focus on lengthening your upper back and your neck here. That's where most people tend to give up a little bit. Couple more. Pulling your head toward your hips, pressing your upper back toward the ceiling. Keeping the arms nice and straight. All right. From here, we're going to go into a supported lizard. So grab your blocks. You're going to step your right leg up. Put your right foot between the block. Crawl your left leg back. Hands are going to go on top of the blocks on either side of your front foot. Back foot untucks. And then just lightly press your hips forward. Use the blocks to lift your chest up. So we really want to focus on pulling the chest forward and upright and allowing the hips to sink forward. So use the blocks. The blocks are really helpful here. They're going to help make this a much more restorative, a much easier stretch. Try to press your right hip toward your right heel. And with the blocks, I'd actually recommend kind of gripping the blocks somehow instead of, you can either come up under your fingertips if you want. That'll get a stretch for your fingertips. You can grip the blocks if you want, but don't just relax your hands into the blocks, because that's going to put some stress on the wrist. So have a light grip somehow with the blocks, or again, come up onto your fingertips and kind of stretch your fingers. Two more breaths here. Nice long hold to open up your hips. All right, and then let's switch sides. So now left leg comes up, right leg is back. Square your hips toward the front. And it helps to just lift your right knee off the ground just a little bit, just to kind of get the hips squared and get the weight into your left leg. And then set it back down. Untuck your back foot. Keep the weight pressing down through your left foot. Pull your chest forward and up. Breathing in through the nose. And exhaling, sinking forward. So depending on your mobility here, you might want to have your fingertips on the blocks so you can get very far upright. So let's say if you have a little less mobility in your hips, you definitely want to get as tall as you can. If you have a little more mobility and you can get your hips closer to the ground, you won't have to get as high away from the blocks. So for me right now, I'm feeling that this is pretty good for me because my right hip is feeling pretty tight. But as I progress into the stretch, I'm probably going to get down to where my hands are gripping the block and I'm not quite as high away from the ground. I also want to make sure that I'm not arching my back here. I'm using the block so I can keep my spine neutral, so I can keep my spine straight. And 3 more breaths here. If you can try and squeeze that right hip flexor, that will help it stretch a little more. Keep your chest facing forward. Just breathing in and out of the nose. All right.
Thanks for joining me for this workout today. Make sure you subscribe. We put out lots of videos like this on a very regular basis. And to get full access to all of my workouts, my programs, tutorials,
and more, head to manfulyoga.com, sign up for a 7-day trial. It's just $1. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video.